Hey guys, Elite Legionarii here, and as you can no doubt see, I am bringing you a 2 versus 2 battle on Rome Total War, and this is the Battle of Bibracte. Now you're probably asking, why am I bringing you Bibracte if you've already got 2 on your channel? I do have 2 on my channel, and I already have one as Gaul, which is what I'm playing as now, but the army, the one I had with Gaul, I did on my old computer, and then I had to transfer it to my new computer, and then I uploaded it, and the sound's just crap. And this, at the time, this was the only fight I could find in the lobby. And I thought I'd just bring you a better quality version of the same battle with the same faction I used. Not that it'll turn out the same way as that battle. It'll be a bit different. Every battle's different, even if you do the same one several times. So, the Gauls in this battle command a force comprised mostly around the strength of cavalry. It's their greatest power in this battle. But their force contains 3 war bands, 1 chosen swordsman, which is probably one of the best infantry units brought to battle in this game, in this particular battle rather, and a unit of naked fanatics. But their greatest asset are these 3 barbarian noble cavalry, and a barbarian chosen warlord, and a barbarian light cav unit. They've got 2 forester warbands, they come in very handy as well, and a skirmisher warband unit, which is useful. Everything's pretty useful really. My ally, whose name is Scott, he commands the Germania. Their force is also pretty well orientated, except they go a wee bit more in the way of infantry than cavalry. So their force is made up of 3 units of spear warband, 2 units of skirmisher warband, screeching woman, which when they get screeching are extremely annoying, 1 unit of extremely overpowered large scale units, these berserkers. They do a crap ton of damage if they're allowed to. Also gives 2 axeman units. It gives some warded hounds, and a German general, chosen general, and a barbarian noble cavalry. So that's them. Now the SBQR player, Jeremiah of the Black Clan. I seem to be running into this clan quite a bit at the moment. They give the SBQR 5 units of early legionary cohorts, a unit of Roman archers, a light auxiliar, an onager, and 3 units of Roman cav, and 1 unit of Roman general. And the other army, the Julii player, is Hakuro, I think it's Hakuro, I'm not sure, something like that, of the DCH clan. This guy got pretty angry with me because I had some connection problems and he was kind of annoying me. But anyway, the Julii in this game get, they get 6 units of early legionary cohort. They get a Rhodian slinger unit, they get cavalry auxiliar, 2 of them. They get a Roman archer unit, they get an onager unit, which was out there, and a Roman general unit. So there was like a little tiny, absolutely almost minuscule amount of lag in this fight, and it was me, although my computer was saying it was Jeremiah, but it was me. But the DCH player, the Julio player over here, he got really aggro about it, and started saying my computer was crap and all this, and I mean, my computer's not like the absolute best computer out there, but it's fairly decent. It can play up to Shogun 2 on about medium settings, so it can easily handle Rome on totally topped out settings easily, and it's only about 4 months old. So it's definitely not my computer that's the problem. It's here in this country, in New Zealand where I live, the connection, the whole broadband connection thing, it's not like up to scratch with where it is in America or like England or Britain. I don't have that as good a connection as you guys do over there and in other places around the world. So it's not my fault that when I join a game I lag or cause connection problems. It's not like I'm deliberately coming into a battle and saying, hey look, there's Hakuro of the DCH clan, let's deliberately cause connection problems to annoy him. It's not like I do that or set out to do that, you know. I understand you can get it can be frustrating, but this guy just got really, like, you know, annoyed almost instantly by it. I mean, it just happens. Like, I sometimes host games and it happens quite a bit, and it just happens. It's not like it's the person's fault. They're not deliberately doing it. I'm not like people whine about GameSpy. I think it's a pretty good system. It's fairly successful. Connection problems ain't that common. They do happen, but they're not that common. And I mean, all you got to do is stick your CD key in, shove your disc in, stick your CD key in, put a name in, and you can play online. It's great. I love that system. I don't know why people complain about it. The other systems are much more annoying. Like Medieval 2, you got to have like an IG account or some sort of account. I forget how it goes. And like Empire and stuff, you got to have Steam, which isn't that bad, I suppose. But the Rome setup's the best because anyone can just put the disc in, put their CD key in, and play. And it's easy for people who are not very computer literate. So I don't know why people complain about it. But anyway, I'm ranting here, guys. So I've told my ally to come to the woods. We are barbarian factions, so we'll do better in the woods. Plus it will shield us to a certain extent from these onagers. The only concern is my cavalry won't do so well in the woods, but there's a nice open area over here where I can work. And I can work on my other flank as well. My foresters will do well in here, but I make a few mistakes in my foresters. I let them get too exposed to the enemy cavalry, but I have got other cavalry of my own ready to assist. But basically, I have to get rid of these onagers, and my foresters are my best bet. If I can, even if I don't like destroy them, if I thin them out, it'll be of much use. And as you can see, onagers are they're good, but at the same time they're semi-reliable. Like, if they can't hit anything, and once you close the range, in this case we're not going to be able to close the range, but being in the woods makes it a lot harder for those onagers to even hit. And our guys are getting all bonuses in the woods, and if we can take out these onagers, as you can see I'm doing a pretty good job on the SPQRs ones, we can be pretty sure we'll be alright. But I make a bit of a blunder. I don't have my cavalry up far enough up to support, so will lose some here to these Roman cavalry, but because I'm in the woods, I'm going to do quite well against these Roman cavalry. I will lose a few of my Forester Warband here, but because they've got spears and they've got a woods bonus and my cavalry weren't that far behind, I'm actually not going to lose that many. Probably only going to lose about 20, and he did lose about 10 calves, so I'm not too perturbed by that. And it was a good sacrifice in my opinion, because it took out one of the onager units, more or less ability to fight, because they will have to take a lot longer to reload now. So obviously I've deployed myself completely in the forest. This is just so I have the intention of staying in here because although I've got the most powerful cavalry, these Roman infantry are a hell of a lot better than our infantry. The only infantry I can say that's any good is this chosen swordsman unit, which is very good, but Warband are terrible infantry. Naked fanatics are pretty good, but in the woods they'll be very good. Out in the open they can be good, but they won't be nearly as effective. I just got to be careful with my cav, like I said. I've got my skirmisher warband unit screening in the front. They'll throw some javelins, and they'll also take Pila from the Roman forces. So if you look over here, just as many of these Roman cav were lost as my Forester warband, so that wasn't actually that big of a bad thing. I was a bit careless, admittedly, but he lost about 15 men. I lost probably about 25 to 30, so it's a pretty good trade-off. I'm going to pull back now though, because onagers are still firing, and I do not need to lose my cav. They are the most important forces. My ally, I really wished he'd come right in with me into the woods and like formed up in this area here. He didn't, and I was sort of too busy focusing on what I was doing to be able to take the time to talk to him. If he had, I think we would have done better than we ended up doing. it's, in my opinion, you're a barbarian faction. Go into the woods. Just go there. You're going to do much better in there. The Romans don't do nearly as good in the woods. Playing out in the open's like playing Roman games. You know, the Romans love that. Stay in the woods, the barbarians. Here he's forming up on my right flank, but I will alter my men to face that in a moment. But most of his men are directly across from me. And he's playing, I want him to play into my hands. I want him to play to my strengths, because overall the Roman armies, in my opinion, are strong. It's pretty even in this game, but the Roman infantry is a lot stronger. And they've got enough men to slow my cavalry down, so I'm staying to the forest. It's just better this way. So as you can see, I'm making very short work of his Rhodian slingers and some of his archers. My foresters are getting a nice bonus in here, and they're a lot better as archers. So here I form my men up to hold his men at bay, but like I said, my men are not a match for his infantry, so I have to be careful here, but the wood should give me help, and I've war cried, so that'll help as well. So I'm throwing javelins into his men, with a very limited effect, but he's throwing javelins and they're getting squandered on my skirmisher warband. So it's not all bad. So here I'm going to charge, and as you can well see, his peeler is gone, so I absorbed all that peeler and stopped him from doing much. These war dogs come in, and that's helping. They're not doing that well, but they're frightening these units, so that's very good. So over here, my chosen swordsmen are going to actually clean up their clean house over on this flank, and I bring out my cavalry in a one-sided strike, and I want to try and actually knock out his right. I had thought that my ally was covering my flank, you see, but he's so far back and disorganised. You see, he's just terribly disorganised. I didn't realise that at the time. I should have kept a closer, tighter eye on him. But I thought he'd cover my flank, so that's why I put my cavalry out on this one and used a mass cavalry strike. I think my thinking was sound, but I should have kept a tighter eye on my ally. Otherwise, this side of my army is going to suffer because of these Roman cavalry. But if my ally had just parked himself just in here, could have supported me, and the SPQR player would have been forced to come in to help his ally much sooner. But for the most part, it's pretty even. These warband are holding against his early legionary cohort, which is fantastic. That's the war cry in the woods talking, because the early legionary cohort are leagues better. Here I outflank his legionnaires, but for some reason I would have thought they would have caved in by this point, but they're actually doing very well. This has got to either be the fact that I've got too many of my men sitting in the woods. There I killed the Roman general though. So that's good. But I would have thought his men would have routed by now, but this is a testament to Roman morale. But for the most part, the line is very even. The woods are very much helping. My ally does move up here though. Thankfully, I would have been in a lot of trouble if he didn't. Here I would draw my cav. I don't want to get stuck here in the woods. And I lost a lot of men, far more men than I really would have liked to here. But I did take out a lot of his legionnaires as well. But I'm going to draw him out into the open. These cavalry auxilia are not nearly going to be a match for my much superior cavalry, and being out in the open is much better for me. And he's got his Roman archers in as well. Hopefully he's thinking they'll turn the tide. But a lot of his legionnaires just broke against my chosen swordsmen, which are going to make short work of what's left, and he's getting arrows in the face as well. And here's a cavalry unit here that I forget about, but I won't in a minute. I'll remember it in a moment. So I'm doing a fairly good job against the Julii player Hikuro of the DCH clan. As you can see, my barbarians are making very short work of his cavalry auxilia and Roman archers here. And my cavalry do some really weird, annoying things here. I did not tell them to do this. I don't know why they're doing it. I did tell them to go over here though, but for some reason they were, I don't know, sometimes they do strange stuff. But as you can see, because my ally was too slow to get up and to support to help me, my naked fanatics have not, they're holding, but they're not doing nearly as well as they were doing. And that's costly. But here I'm going to get some hammer and anvil strikes in. I don't get much of a momentum with my charge, but it does enough to rout the centre of the Roman line for the most part. Here my chosen swordsmen finish their department of the battle, so they're going to go over and assist, and most of Hakuro's men are now in full retreat. The problem is, my ally didn't take my advice. He did to a certain extent, and those areas where he did, he's doing a lot better. These berserkers are going to be very, very effective. But he didn't come to the woods very well. But overwhelming numbers are doing a lot of damage to him, so I really need to get in there fast. So I managed to defeat my opponent. I still got some cavalry prowling around the back lanes. But my ally's in real trouble and I need to hurry there, but Hakuro does a good job of stalling me long enough to be a significant nuisance. So here I'm going to charge these guys here, because I see that the berserkers are in the action and they're the strongest German unit, so if I free them up they can go on the assault with some more things. He sends cavalry into these berserkers, that should pulverise them. I withdraw here and send some cavalry into support here. I forget about my general, and his bloody men are going to just kill him here, which is really annoying. His auxiliary managed to defeat that general's unit. That's really weird. And here my guys rout. His berserkers did collapse, which was surprising. And no, they didn't. They just moved off in another direction. That's annoying. But as you can see, my infantry is now too tired against these much fresher Roman legionnaires. But I do have my chosen swordsmen coming in, which should make a difference. And my foresters are firing. They should be. I'm starting to think that, yeah, they are firing. Not sure why though. But they're more or less out of arrows now, and basically my ally, he didn't do like a terrible job, but I think the berserkers got most of his kills for him, because of their obviously extreme power. But he should have taken my advice. I'm not saying I get it right every time, but if he had been in the woods, his men would have been stronger, and as you can see, my men were able, even my warband were able to hold up to legionnaires, something they wouldn't normally be able to do. Here I intercept his Roman general with my chosen swordsman, but there's too much for them to handle, and they're very tired after fighting so constantly. So my army's going to basically cave in a minute. It's starting to, and even my chosen swordsmen are gone after a fantastic effort on their part. But the Romans are obviously going to win, but not by much. If you look at their what's left of their forces, very few forces indeed. Here's some of his light auxiliary. And these Zerks are still going, so this is a ridiculous. If I could have seen the German stats, I bet his men would have had like 400 kills or something, like the big majority of the kills. If you look at this big centre where they were over here, there's a crap load of dead SPQR units. Look at that, a whole unit of them. First cohorts, tons of cavalry. But he just didn't seem to do all that well. Which was unfortunate, because I thought I did rather well. A lot of dead Romans in the woods here, and I mean warband up against legionary cohorts. They usually just be massacred, but in the woods, if you time it right, you can do well. Here, he could have done better. He is doing good here actually, but if he just if he probably didn't work together enough, and that is partially my fault. I will take some blame for that. It seems cavalry didn't do so well either. But if he'd stuck to the woods, I think with much tighter to the woods, not half his army in, half his army out, he would have done better. He put his weakest men in the woods. Not a bad idea, but they still didn't do that well. But they lasted quite a while. So here he's going to take on what's left of the SPQR player, and it's without a doubt the SPQR saved the Julii player from what would have been defeat. and he's going to throw whatever peeler he's got left, and it looks like his men are glitched because they were fighting sideways, and here he's going to get charged, and they'll about rout in a moment, and they rout now. I was hoping they'd hold out so I could pin them with my remaining men there that are coming in. So this will not be a victory, but I consider it, well, I did beat the Julii player fair and square, and the SBQ arco, I did have to come and help him, so I consider that a victory on my part. It looks like Jeremiah will be the last man standing. There's a few of his men left. My men are doing okay against these legionnaires, surprisingly enough, but here they're going to get destroyed, and bam, they're gone. So that is a pretty glorious defeat in my opinion. I don't mind getting beaten if I fight well. A close defeat, but as you can see, I had 1,677 kills out of my 1,877 men, and only 87 left though. I was pulverised what was left of me. Scott, my ally, had 1,682 men. He got 913 kills. DCH Hakuro of the DCH clan, he had 1,252 kills. He did quite a dent in my army, but I eventually overcame him. He had 1,553 men, and and Jeremiah, he had 2,032 kills. He got the big majority of the kills. He got 1,477 men. He has 492 left. So if you look at the statistics, nothing in my army except the warband. Even in the forest, they took quite heavy casualties, but they did hold out, and that's all they needed to do. But my cavalry, they did very well. My chosen swordsman, look at that, 258, and my forester warband got way up, and this one got 270, my other one got 192. Everything got way up, big heavy kills before it was completely destroyed, so nothing really did that badly. Even the look at that skirmisher warband, even they got 101, and that's a skirmisher unit, so they did very well as well. It's a testament to the fact that in the forest, barbarian factions are very good, perhaps except Scythia. Well, their archers would do good in there, but you wouldn't want to put Scythia in the forest too much, because obviously they're cavalry, and their cavalry don't do as well in forests. But all my cavalry units, my noble cavalry and my chosen warlord, all got a very high number of kills, but eventually got destroyed themselves. So everything did pretty good for the most part, except those warband. They didn't do bad though, considering they are warband, pretty much the crappiest infantry unit in the game. Perhaps Eastern Spearmen are worse though. But it's a good game to Scott, DCH Hakuro, and Jeremiah from the Black Clan. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this will basically just serve as a replacement for my much worse quality original Battlers Gaul on this battle, which is Bibracte. So I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time.